What's up, guys? This is Rey-Jay, and today I want to give you guys a very quick update about the markets. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice. So as far as the market's going, SPY is below 660, which is a sign of weakness that's developing right now. But we're not necessarily breaking down too hard because there are buyers who are still trying to hold particular levels, especially in the mid 659s. Now, if we lose 659.5, there's going to be a risk of us dipping all the way down closer to like the very low 659s, and eventually 658 is our next potential target. There is some downside risk to this, but for the most part we're just chopping around, so we're just chopping slowly downtrending, and that's all SPY is doing. It's not really much. But like I've said before, what matters more is going to be FOMC tomorrow. So tomorrow, when the Fed gives us their interest rate decision, and when all the data comes out, that's what's going to be really affecting this market more. So until then, expect the chop to continue, maybe some downside if SPY cannot hold above 660. So keep that in mind, at least for now. On the triple Q, we're on a bit of a downtrend as well. We need to get back above at least 592 to see a bigger bounce. If we can't reclaim that, I'm watching the 590 flat area to be potentially tested. If that fails us, we could be dipping to like 588 all over again. So I do believe we're going to continue to chop around, but this could be dipping a bit more into the low 590s. For now, we're just very choppy, but the downside risk is still there. The IWM is also rejecting unless we get back above 238 to bounce. This could be returning to 235. I do expect this to chop around as well, but there is a risk of 235 if this continues. ES is on a bit of a downtrend. It's very choppy for now. Could be dipping to like 66.60 or below. And it's just like a very minor move. It's not too serious until we get FOMC. Same thing with NQ. NQ is on a bit of a downtrend unless we get back above 24,600. This is still favoring downside. We could retest 24,542, then dip back down. I anticipate just lots of sideways price action before this potentially continues to downtrend. Bitcoin is trading sideways between 115,300 and basically 114,800. We're just trading sideways. Might push for 115,250, then dip back down. Overall, it's not really doing much. Tesla's also just range bound. We've been stuck between the low 420s and basically 414 throughout the entire day. So I expect this to continue. We should retest 415, then we'll see if we bounce. But overall, we're just kind of stuck in the middle. Looking at Nvda, we have support at 175, resistance at 177. So we're also range bound here, although we could be dipping back down to like 175. For Amazon, sorry, not Amazon, Appl, we're actually on a bit of a downtrend. We need to get back above 240. If we don't, I do see us retesting 238, then 236, unless we hold above 240. Palantir is also just chopping around. We need to see if 169 holds. If not, we could be dipping to like 168. If we break past 170, we're looking for a bigger bounce, but overall, we're just kind of range bound here, and the downside risk is still there. AMD is also range bound right here. We have resistance at 160, and we'll see if we reject. We're also just chopping around 160, so we'll just have to see what happens at least from here on out. Coinbase could be looking for 325, and we'll see if we get some kind of rejection, but there is still some potential to go a bit higher for now. Amazon remains more bullish as long as we don't end up losing 234.75. We're favoring 236 and a new high for 237, so it's looking pretty good. Meta is also consolidating right here. We could be dipping back down to 767. But I did expect this to just chop around a bit before we end up dipping a little bit, so keep that in mind. Google's also range bound right here. Unless we end up losing like 250, we could be looking for this range to continue. I do think that this is like an accumulation, so we might consolidate and start pushing back up to 252. And Microsoft's on a bit of a downtrend. Unless we hold above 513, we're going to be favoring like 512 to 510. There might be some downside risk on Microsoft. Notice the VIX is on a bit of a breakout right here. So if you look at the 4-hour time frame, we're continuing to break out of this 4-hour falling wedge, which is going to be favoring 16.25 or above. That's once again a bearish signal as the market is showing some weakness. We could be dipping a bit more. And are we about to see SPY and the QQQ break out of their wedges? Are we about to see a big downtrend move, at least maybe heading into tomorrow or beyond? And is the VIX about to break out? We have to be very patient. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I think that's when the main move is going to come. Until then, expect a lot of chop, maybe some downside very slowly, but for the most part, we're just chopping around. So just Remember that it's going to have a negative effect on premiums. Anyways, I thank you all so much for listening. Have a good rest of your guys' days, and peace out.